Hello friends! The official Cerato has two gasoline atmospheric 4-cylinder engines with a working volume of 1.6 liters and 126 horsepower and 2.0 liters with 150 horsepower. In addition, Forte, Cerato, of other automotive markets installed 2.4-liter gasoline engines, 176 horsepower, 1.6 GDI with 140 horsepower, and a 1.6-liter turbo diesel, 128 horsepower. In gasoline power units of the Gamma 2 G4FC 1.6 liter and Theta 2 G4KD 2.0 liter series, a chain-type timing drive is used. Some owners of a Kia Cerato with both engines noted a knock after starting a cold engine. An extraneous sound appeared after 40 to 60,000 kilometers and was similar to the sound of valves. Presumably, the sound source is the timing chain drive. On Ceratos with a 1.6-liter engine, sad cases of the timing chain jumping by several teeth were recorded. Some of them led to a meeting of pistons with valves. The culprit is the chain tensioner. Similar incidents, but in greater numbers, also occurred on the Kia Ceed with the same engine with a mileage of 40 to 90,000 kilometers. After 160 to 200,000 kilometers, sometimes there is an extension of the atmospheric timing chain 1.6. You can check the condition of the chain and the output of the tensioner, no more than 5 teeth, by removing the valve cover. Unfortunately, a number of owners were faced with a major overhaul of both engines. Noise, knocking, appeared, and oil consumption increased. In the process of troubleshooting, wear of the cylinder walls, seizures, was detected. Fortunately, there are few incidents, and there are examples with a mileage of over 300 to 500,000 kilometers without major repairs. In winter frosts, due to the strongly thickening lubricant of the retractor, problems often arise with starting the engine. But after 60 to 100,000 kilometers, the starter itself sometimes failed. Also, after 60 to 100,000 kilometers, there were individual cases of failure of the thermostat or pump. After 150 to 200,000 kilometers, at 1.6, the crankshaft position sensor often fails. There are difficulties with starting or the engine stalls. Initially, a 5-speed manual and a 4-band automatic transmission were installed. Since mid-2010, they began to use 6-speed mechanics and automatic. The rumble when reversing is a common occurrence for the Kia Cerato 2 with manual transmission in the past. Extraneous noise increased with an increase in mileage and reached its apogee after 30 to 60,000 kilometers. When contacting official services, dealers replaced the clutch kit along with the basket. A similar problem existed in the Kia Ceed. After 50 to 80,000 kilometers, noise often appeared, a squeak that occurs when the clutch pedal is pressed. The source is the release bearing. It happened that after replacing the release, the noise soon returned again. Presumably, the problem is not only in the release bearing, but in the fork bearing combination. This was indirectly evidenced by the fact that the extraneous sound went away after the space under the fork boot was treated with a penetrating lubricant. In other matters, more often the clutch had to be changed after 130 to 180,000 kilometers. No problems were noted with the automatic except for a rupture of the automatic transmission oil outlet hose for cooling. The problem concerned 6-speed automatic transmissions installed before March of 2011. The defect appeared after 30 to 50,000 kilometers and was caused by a defect in the production of hoses, a puncture of the supplier. Suspension of the Cerato 2 could knock after 15 to 20,000 kilometers. The most common cause is a plastic boot walking along the shock absorber rod. Initially, the anther sat motionless, but after 15 to 40,000 kilometers, it came off and began to hang out, rattling on bumps. The anther was glued into place, tightened with clamps, or even screwed with self-tapping screws. Racks and bushings of the front stabilizer go more than 40 to 60,000 kilometers. The front shock absorbers, Mando, could knock or snot after 40 to 70,000 kilometers. Problems with rear shock absorbers occur after 80 to 140,000 kilometers. Ball bearings and silent blocks of the front levers usually last more than 100,000 kilometers, and silent blocks of the rear beam reach up to 150,000 kilometers. Wheel bearings have to be updated after 100 to 150,000 kilometers. On the front axle, the bearing itself changes, and on the rear axle, the hub assembly. On many cars, there is a backlash in the right drive, which causes rattling on bumps. Initially, when contacting the service, dealers changed the drive assembly under warranty, but later, Kia sent out clarifications that this defect does not affect driving safety, and the drive does not require replacement. After 80 to 100,000 kilometers, there are cases of violation of the integrity of the anther of the outer CV joint. If you pull with a replacement, then you may soon need to replace the outer CV joint. Many Cerato owners complained about the buildup and breakdowns of the rear suspension. The back was constantly rearranged, and the car went off course. They had to constantly taxi up. The situation is similar to the dancing suspension phenomenon on the Kia Rio and Hyundai Solaris. In addition, with frequent transportation of luggage and filling the cabin with passengers, the soft rear springs soon sag. After 30 to 60,000 kilometers, a knock could appear in the steering. There are several reasons: the steering shaft cardan shaft or the steering rack. In some cases, leakage of the steering rack occurs. The paintwork of the body of the Kia Cerato 2 is common for the modern automotive industry, thin and easily scratched. On specimens older than 2 to 3 years, there have already been problems with chrome-plated body trim elements, as well as swelling of paint, more often on the trunk lid, less commonly on rear doors, rear wheel arches, windshield pillars, and roof. The headlights fog up from time to time, and the glazing is sometimes covered with a cobweb of small cracks. Most unscrupulous dealers refuse to replace defective headlights, citing the use of too strong chemicals during the car wash. After 150 to 200,000 kilometers, the plastic crackers of the door opening limiters wear out. Some owners encountered difficulties when refueling the car. Gasoline was squeezed back out. The reason is the sticking of the check valve, which serves to prevent gasoline from splashing out of the tank on bumps. The salon of the Cerato sometimes disappoints with squeaks. Common sources: door seals, plastic around the clock and windshield air ducts, front panel, dome light, driver's airbag, and automatic transmission selector lining. A peeling steering wheel after 10 to 30,000 kilometers is another widespread phenomenon today that has not bypassed the Cerato 2. Sometimes the owners of the Kia Cerato, after rain or washes, found water on the thresholds of the doors. Water got inside the door through a short glass seal, which lacked only 3 millimeters to completely block access. Next, the water was on the window motor, and then left the door through the drain hole. From time to time, water was also found under the front passenger's carpet, getting there through the air intake under the wiper grill or due to a clogged air conditioner condensate drain. Sometimes water was also found in the technological pocket of the rear left wing. The search for the leak site yielded no results. A possible cause of the appearance is condensation. There are problems with electrical equipment. One of the common, typical for Kia and Hyundai cars, is the failure of the brake light switch. Some owners noted non-systemic problems with the launch. The reason is poor contact of the immobilizer antenna. Dealers, when confirming a malfunction, replaced the immobilizer antenna. After 50 to 80,000 kilometers, the parking sensors began to fail, and a little later, they completely refused. There were also cases of failure of the electric drive of the exterior mirrors. Low beam lamps sometimes often burn out after 10 to 30,000 kilometers. The reason for the mysterious phenomenon is unknown. Sometimes the wiper leashes, after being triggered, together with the glass washer, park 5 to 10 centimeters above the space allotted for them. The reason once again remains undisclosed. When the washer is turned on for more than 2 seconds, a provocative situation is not created. After 150,000 kilometers, the trapezoid may turn sour and jam. Disassembly and lubrication is required. There were also cases of cracking of the windshield in the heating zone of the brushes. Presumably, the filament was heating up too quickly and the glass could not withstand the sudden change in temperature. The air conditioning compressor pulley bearing may make noise after 150 to 200,000 kilometers. Closer to 200,000 kilometers, the generator has to be repaired. The brushes, bearing, or voltage regulator wear out. If you know of other model malfunctions, be sure to write about it.